the Dutch actress that are so typical blonde hair and really light skin, and these are the actors, or you have to be really darker skin, so you can really be put in that category. So I always felt left out, and it was hard also for me until the point I started embracing who I am. And I tried to see everything I saw as my flaws, tried to see that as my assets.
Hi, Nzinga.
Hello.
So my first question for you is, what is your name? What is your occupation? And where do you come from?
Mm-hmm. So my name is Nzinga Sordam. My profession, I'm an actress, and I'm also a yoga teacher, and I believe I'm also a writer.
In terms of your professions, what are you most passionate about? What part of your work are you most passionate about?
Telling stories. Mm-hmm. And really be able to join stories with people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide to become an actress or actor, and what was the turning point?
Well, I always liked acting. On school, at home, I always made little plays or went to the after-school activities, and I was in the theater plays. And when I went to a theater show with my mother, for example, I always wanted to wait, and so I can step on stage and feel the floor and do all that. But I never thought this is what I'm going to be, because it's so regular to do a study, then have a job. And my father, he's a musician, but he always said, so you're going to be an advocate, a lawyer, or a doctor. It's so typical, and he didn't even do that, but he just 2 options or something, and I never had the ambition to become a lawyer or a doctor. But I went to pedagogiek. It's the child and grown-up development study. And then you learn a lot about yourself. You're always talking about yourself, getting to know yourself, because if you want to help people, first to get to know yourself. And then I mentioned in the study group, well, if it was my own choice, I would be now in acting school. And somebody mentioned, but why don't you? And it was so simple. It was such a simple, but why don't you? And my brains never made that connection, that it's a possibility, just, you can do what you want. And actually from that point I made the decision. I just stopped at school and I did auditions for the theater schools and the film schools, and that's the rest is history.
I wanted to ask you about culture, heritage, and background. Tell me, do you have a mixed heritage? And although I know a bit about it, do you have a mixed heritage, and how does it manifest in your life as an actor, for example?
Mm-hmm. So my roots, my heritage is from Suriname, South of America, and Holland. My mother's Dutch, but my father's also Dutch, and his father's from Suriname. And we are from the Creolic side of Suriname, so the heritage is in Africa. I'm not sure what part, but this is my heritage. But the thing is, I always struggled with, not that I am from what my roots are, but just how I look. This is how I came out. I came out white, so I always had to explain myself. Always. So not when I was younger. When I was a kid, I didn't. I always went to all different kind of places with my parents, and it was normal to mix and be yourself. But when you grow up, you become a teenager, you come in the working field, then you become aware of how you look. And I looked white to really back up the fact that I'm also from Suriname. But I was also a little bit dark to be fully white. So I always felt I, I cannot find my place because I know the Dutch actors that are so typical blonde hair and really light skin, and these are the actors. Or you have to be really darker skin, so you can really be put in that category. So I always felt left out, and it was hard also for me until the point I started embracing who I am, and I tried to see everything I saw as my flaws. Tried to see that as my assets, and now it's all turned out I can be wherever. Even the fact that I'm a part of this project, it's for me already a victory of, wow, I can also be in this project, talk about my roots and how that is, and I can connect in all worlds now. So it's a huge benefit, the way I look.
That's brilliant, because all those I've interviewed have had a point in their life where they felt being different was a disadvantage,
Yeah.
and something that caused them great pain and great hardship. But at some point in their life, it became an asset. And when they embraced it, suddenly things started to change.
Exactly, yeah.
I would like to ask you, when you were a child, was there one moment where you realized, oh my God, I'm not like everybody else? Was there one moment where you felt different, that I stick out in many ways? Like you say, you're not dark, but you're not totally white. You embrace your heritage, but yet people don't see it sometimes. So was there a moment when you're a kid where you're like, oh my God, I'm not like everybody else? Somebody sees something different in me. Do you remember that?
Well, as a kid, I always felt right where I had to be. I never felt different. The only thing was my hair. Because my mother liked my hair being frizzy. So she just left it, and it always was really wild, and that was different because all the girls from my school, they had the perfect straight ponytails, and mine was just, if I made one jump and everything was already wild. This is the only thing, but I never connected it to this because my father has frizzy hair, or that was the only thing. The real difference, awareness of being different, was when I went to high school, when I came into my teenage years.
What happened?
Well, I always grew up with mixed friends, and all of a sudden, embracing my surname roots became really important for me. And so I really emphasized that I had a father from Suriname. So I only played with my Suriname friends, and I was always the light-skinned girl with the dark-skinned group. And then I went to a birthday party of a friend, and I was already used to always explaining myself to the aunts and the uncles. So, who are you? And I said, yeah, my name is Nzinga. Okay, where are you from? It was always an issue. I was also the only one from all my friends who were new to the building to explain myself what I was doing at that Suriname party. And I said, well, my last name is Sordam, so it's a Suriname name. My father is from Suriname. Ha, but you're so white, ha, 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 ha. So she really laughed at me, but I felt so hurt because I just didn't get it. And I just wanted to be a little tin darker, just a little tin darker.
That brings me to your name.
Yeah.
Your name is not the typical Dutch name. Is that also part of the way that people knew you were different already, or they just thought it's an exotic white girl's name? Or how does it feel having this name, Nzinga, and what is the relevance?
Yeah, when I introduce myself, it's always a conversation. It's always a question from why do you have this name? So that's what I like about my name. I have direct dialogue with people, so I can talk and tell a little bit about the heritage of my name, because she's a queen and she was also really a freedom fighter for her country, Angola. But I also explained, no, I'm not from Angola. My father read this book and he's from Suriname. But I always enjoy that because it's a great conversation.
So tell me your name and the significance, so we get it in one. What is your name? If you could just express it and tell me why it's significant. What does it mean?
So Nzinga is an African name from Angola, and it's the name from a queen, Queen Nzinga. And first her brother ruled, but he wasn't capable enough, so she took over, and she really stood up for her country. And she fought with her people together when the Portuguese people tried to conquer her country. And she was really known for her dialogue skills. She would really have dialogue with the Portuguese people. And she was not only a fighter, but she could also speak very good. Yeah.
I've been asking also the other creatives about how your mixed cultural heritage is reflected in your work or not reflected in your work. Does it inform or not inform? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, in the beginning it was. When I create my own work, it is. When I play this part, it's what somebody else decides for me. But when I made my first theater play, it was really from that pain of being different and really not, well, it's not that I didn't fit in, because I always felt that I fit in because I fit in my own family, so that's how I feel in the world. But I just noticed the outside impact. Of course it has an impact on me also. So I struggled with, I made a theater play about the struggle of being who I am, the way I look. So it was about my body, how my body looks, and but how my skin looks, and that
It's interesting. In the States, which is one of like the diaspora points, in terms of the African American experience, there was a situation where it was by law, if you had a bit of black blood, you were black, even if you looked white. And because of like the racial issues, some people would pass as white to be able to gain some privileges because it was very difficult if you were a black person. Do you think that there's still that element today? Are we okay? Where you have to straddle two world, in a sense of somebody can assume you're white and maybe inform you about things that maybe like, well, that's like you're talking about my father there, but they maybe assume that you have no mixed heritage. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where somebody assumes that you're in the same line as them because of how you present, and then maybe they're surprised that you have some mixed roots?
I went to a camping with my Surinamese friends, and you can tell they're Surinamese, and they were the only dark-skinned girls on the whole camping site. And we went swimming. We were with three of us, so 3 girls, cousins, sisters, and me. And but we really noticed that all the other kids, the white kids, were looking at us. So we got a little bit, okay, why are they looking? Never mind. We went out of the swimming pool, and then they all waited around the swimming pool, and there were like 30 kids, I think. They'd waited outside for us. At least I thought for us. So, and we stood there, and they were just, some kids stood up and they said, so what are you doing here? That simple question, what are you doing here? And they explained, we're having vacation. My mother and father have their camping site, so we're here. So you go back to your own country. It's so superficial because they're just repeating something. They don't even know what they're saying, but they were mad that we were there. But I noticed that they weren't talking to me. They were only talking to my 3 girlfriends. And I got scared because it was a lot of kids, and I was just like, went in a little shock or something, didn't know what to say. My friends were really feisty, sticking up for themselves. Yeah, we have the right to be here, and what is your problem? Got a little bit in argument. And at one point I snapped out of my frozenness, and I said, okay, I'm sorry, but you're only speaking to my friends. Are you also talking to me? No, you're good, you're good. We're not talking to you. And then I said, but my father's also from Suriname. Oh, then you can go also. You can go away. Just snap like that. I said, okay, but just only because, yeah, they were darker. That was the only reason. And then we kicked their ass.
How old were you then?
I'm 15, I think.
15. Oh, wow.
There was
Wow,
so
you're
many.
quite big. I mean, you weren't that young kicking somebody's ass. Okay, I'm scared of you now. Please like and subscribe. Shattered Hues Films.